The Opobo divisional officer ordered warrant officers and soldiers in the Opobo division in Ikorabasi to open fire on 300 market women that were protesting naked on the streets of Ikorabasi. The captain who commanded the troops was the first to fire. He brought out his pistol and shot the leader of the women at point blank range. She died on the spot. The other soldiers fired their rifles straight at the women, and 25 women were killed outright. It did not happen in Aba. It happened in Ikorabasi, not Aba. And this is a transgenerational misinformation that I'm going to be shocking you with. Now let's start here. I'm talking about the Aba women riot, which all along we felt that about 300 women were killed in Aba. Now this is what happened. Now this incident happened on the 16th of December 1929. The Opobo divisional officer ordered warrant officers and soldiers in the Opobo division in Ikorabasi to open fire on 300 market women that were protesting naked on the streets of Ikorabasi. And this happened in 1929, and the women were protesting against taxation. And what happened? The Opobo divisional officer ordered warrant officers and soldiers to open fire on them, and they were shot dead on the streets of Ikorabasi, not Aba. But by 1929, the Opobo division was still fixed under the Aba division, and that was why it was misinformation. Now the Western press was misinformed, and they thought that the incident happened in Aba.
The only recorded riot that led to the deaths of women in 1929 happened in Ikorabasi, in the present-day Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria.
Of course, you know that the uprising of 1929, known as the Aba Women Riot, did not only happen inside Aba. It happened in different places, and one of such instances is what became known as the Ikorabasi Women's War. The immediate cause of the protest was the introduction of direct taxation, which the women understood was going to be extended to trading and other activities that were basically carried on by women. Whilst the introduction of direct taxation in 1929 was resented by all, it was the women who were adamant that they were not going to pay any such taxes to the British government. The first of the protests erupted in Oloko. Oloko is a community in Owerri province, and this first protest happened on the 23rd of November 1929. It spread quickly to Aba and certain parts of Calabar province, but it was in a community called Egwanga, now known as Ikorabasi, that the protests witnessed its worst massacre. In the afternoon of Sunday, December 15, 1929, the angry women destroyed the buildings of the native court and part of the staff quarters. The next day, being Monday, December 16, the women were invited to meet with the district officer, Mr. A.R. Whitman. Though some of the women were reluctant to go, their leader convinced them and told them that it was only through engagement that they could achieve their demands. The women met with Mr. Whitman and presented him with a list of 7 demands. The most prominent was a commitment from the government not to tax women. Just after the document had been typed, signed, and distributed, more women arrived, and the crowd surged towards the office, breaking through the stick fence. Even though the women were unarmed, Mr. Whitman lost his nerve and ordered the soldiers to open fire. The captain who commanded the troops was the first to fire. He brought out his pistol and shot the leader of the women at point blank range. She died on the spot. The other soldiers fired their rifles straight at the women, and 25 women were killed outright. Sadly, more women were killed in the stampede that followed. This incident sent shockwaves across the community. People wondered, how could unarmed women be shot just like that, leading to a cold-blooded massacre? But at the end, the protests achieved a good result, though at the expense of innocent women. This Ikorabasi Women's War had tremendous impact on the subsequent development of women in the region and on the colonial administration itself. It led to a number of administrative reforms that favored the entire region. All along, you've been hearing that women were killed in Aba in 1929. It actually happened in Ikorabasi, and the women that lost their lives were people from Ikorabasi, and that happened on the streets of Ikorabasi. Now I'm making this video in commemoration of that day. Every 16th of December is remembered in celebration or commemoration of the women that lost their lives. But just note that this incident happened in Ikorabasi, not Aba.